Upon our graduation from the Wisdom of Sinai program, we should take a few seconds to think about what it means to be Jewish and what it takes to follow God's commandments. Throughout our course, we've learned about each of the 10 commandments, studying their literal definitions as well as rabbinical interpretations of how each of them should be followed. Most importantly, though, we were able to connect the text to contemporary issues and to our own lives as young American Jews. Appropriately for the evening ahead of us, I'd like to talk about the fourth commandment, Zachor Yom HaShabbat L'Kadshah. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it holy. Tonight we will both remember and keep the Sabbath day by appreciating and mirroring God's creation of the world and the day of rest which He created for us.
I see a hole.
We will cleanse our hands of the labor we've done in the past 6 days, recite blessings over the wine and challah, partake in a delicious meal, and sing many festive songs. We will reflect on our experiences both in course and more greatly as Jews tonight. Asher Ginsburg, a famous Zionist thinker, once said, "Jews who feel a real tie with the life of their people throughout the generations will find it utterly impossible to think of the existence of the Jew without the Shabbat." One can say without exaggeration that more than the Jew has kept the Shabbat has kept the Jew. Interestingly, the man's pen name, Echad Ha'am, was not only his Hebrew name, but a phrase literally meaning one of the people. As Jews, many of us had similar upbringings, going to Hebrew school twice a week, learning about the Jewish holidays and traditions, and reading from the Torah and celebrating our bar and bat mitzvahs. Some of us grew up lighting the Shabbat candles and saying Kiddush on Friday nights, while others lacked the Jewish experience entirely. Most of our Jewish educations and experiences stopped in our early teen years, and once we arrived at Hopkins, we found ourselves evaluating who we are as Jews and how that translates to being young American adults. The experience I've had in my freshman year here has been a mixture of thought, questioning, and learning. I've grown incredibly involved and active in the Jewish community on campus, and in January I went to Israel for 10 days with my peers from Hillel. I came back with a newfound appreciation of our promised land and of being Jewish in general. Luckily, I stumbled across an email from Rabbi Gopin inviting me to sign up for the Sinai Scholars class at Chabad. Like all of you, I had my interview and was accepted into the program, and in the past 8 sessions have learned more about our faith. I've often found myself asking more questions about Judaism than I had before starting this journey. A biologist finds the code for life in genes and DNA. An engineer's guideline is in his blueprint. Similarly, the blueprint for Jewish life can be found in the Torah. In it lies 613 mitzvot which command the Jews on how to live their lives as God's chosen people. Abraham Heschel examines questions of faith, divinity, self-sufficiency, and other basic tenets of Judaism in his book Between God and Man, acting as the voice of the American Jewish community. He says, all mitzvot are means of evoking in us the awareness of living in the neighborhood of God, of living in the holy dimension. They call to mind the inconspicuous mystery of things and acts, and are reminders of our being the stewards rather than the landlords of the universe. Reminders of the fact that we do not live in a spiritual wilderness, that our every act is an encounter of the human and the holy. Interestingly, this week's Torah portion, Aharim Mot Kedoshim, chapters 16 through 20 of Leviticus, reflects themes of the Holiness Code, laying out the duties of the people of Israel and presenting representative teachings from the broad range of the mitzvot. The phrase, "You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy," is repeated throughout the portion, telling us what to be without telling us what that attribute entails.
I know, I think I've recorded
After days of shtetl life in Eastern Europe, to be holy was synonymous with being pious, observant, and learned Jew. Customs have certainly changed since then, with the emergence of the Reformed and Conservative, among other Jewish movements. Today, Jewish learning is not a stressed part of a child's upbringing, and once they enter into the Jewish adult community of the name mitzvot, they are never to be seen in shul again. They lose a connection with Judaism and often become disinterested in religion in general. The Torah doesn't claim to be a source of life only for those who study it or even for those who observe it, but rather for all who hold fast to it. What this means is that anyone who contributes, however little or greatly, to the relationship between the Jewish people and the Torah merits inclusion in our ultimate redemption. So what does it mean to be a Jew in the year 2009? It could mean praying as often as 3 times a day or attending services only 3 times a year. To some, it means lighting the Hanukkah menorah and having Passover seders, while to others it means giving tzedakah to those less fortunate than themselves. Jews from New York enjoy their bagels and lox, while Jews in California write and star in popular TV shows and movies. There are countless examples of Jewish lifestyles, but more important than the magnitude of people's connections to Judaism are the shared memories and instant connection between us, just by being members of the tribe. I've enjoyed every moment of this class and have learned so much from each of you. We've all contributed various insights to Jewish and generic issues and have bounced ideas off of each other to further our thoughts and impressions of modern Judaism. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Sharon for coordinating the program, to Rabbi Gopin and Pani, who generously opened the Chabad house and taught us about the relationship between the ancient texts of the Ten Commandments and modernity. And lastly, to each of you for making this such a positive experience for me. May we learn from this final gathering together and further kindle the flame of our Judaism in the years to come. Remember, we are each Echad Ha'am, one of the people. Shabbat Shalom.